This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
And first at 5, this officer caught on camera hitting a student outside of Shortridge High School in Indianapolis is now on administrative leave. That's according to IMPD.
Now an investigation is underway to figure out exactly what led up to this confrontation.
RTV6's Cameron Riddle is live outside of Shortridge High School with new information tonight for us. Cameron.
Mark and Amanda, good evening. Details are still coming in and doing so quickly this evening. As we know this afternoon, an IMPD officer is now on administrative leave after a viral video was posted yesterday showing that unnamed officer hitting an IPS student here outside of Shortridge High School yesterday. Tonight, RTV6 has uncovered new police documents that show what police say happened yesterday afternoon. Take a look at the video for yourself. It is making the rounds on social media. The 27-second clip shows part of an altercation with an IMPD officer after they arrived here at Shortridge High School. A statement from IMPD says Metro Police were called here to assist IPS police with a large fight inside the school and putting the building on lockdown. As a parent and at least 2 other people approached the school, they were stopped by at least 2 IMPD officers that you see in the video. Seconds into the clip, you can hear one of the officers tell the parent that, quote, "You can leave the property." The second officer starts to pull out his handcuffs, and that is when things escalated. The police officer is seen reaching his hand toward the unnamed IPS student. And there is the entire video is waiting for you on the RTV6 app. With that said, the family has now retained an attorney, Terrence Kinnard. He says in a statement that the video is, quote, shocking. RTV6 has learned from police documents that the officers involved warned that mother and the student that they could be arrested for disorderly conduct. Now, while we cannot see the face of that IPS student during that video, the records that we have uncovered here at 6 reveal what the officers say they saw. And it reads, quote, "The student's face was clenched in anger and both hands were balled into a fist. The student then moved his body and his right shoulder back and bladed his body." The report goes on to say the officer observed the student taking a fighting stance and that the officer feared the student was, quote, about to strike him. Now, according to more of those police documents, the officer involved threw what police called an open-handed palm strike in an attempt to create distance and then stun that IPS student so the officer would not get hit. IMPD's internal investigations unit is handling this case right now, and at this time they are asking for anyone with additional information or video to send it their way to help assist with this investigation that is raising a lot of questions tonight. We are reporting live at Shortridge. I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Still a lot for police to sort out tonight. Cameron, thank you. A home riddled with bullet holes. And now the man who was inside the house says that he was the victim of a hate crime. Working for you, RTV6's Stephanie Wade with his terrifying story and a deeper look into Indiana's hate crime law.
You can see where one of the bullets went shooting through this home here. Others ricocheted off of the brick. I spoke with a homeowner who says he was awake early in the morning at the time when he heard the gunfire.
Someone is out to hurt or injure or kill myself or a family member. There's very little doubt in my mind on that.
A man and his wife feel targeted. This isn't the first time they and their home have been violated. Last fall, their yard sign that says, "We stand with American Muslims," was damaged. And on several occasions, the homeowner says he's been called the N-word while cutting his grass. And now this. One bullet through their window and into a wall. And about 13 others that barely missed.
Do I have a greater consciousness of people around me? Yeah, I find myself turning my head a little more in the last couple of days. Looking around me when I walk to my car in the parking garage. I mean, I have always been of the thought that I could always come home and leave the world outside. But now the evils of the world appear to be intruding upon my sanctity.
Coming up at 6, we dig into what's being done to find who did this if this is considered a hate crime and how well this homeowner is protected under Indiana's new hate crime law. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Well, the couple plans on enhancing their security. If you have any information about this, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
Moving to weather now, it's Friday evening. That means it's almost time for some high school football, and all eyes are on the sky and the radar. Kevin, is there a chance for rain tonight, and how does it look for a weekend?
Small chance, and that small chance.
No one likes a wet football game. Ugh.
No, I agree. So I think in most cases they're going to be in good shape, and our overall weekend looks good. There are some caveats to that, as always. Let me show you the radar once again. At first glance, you don't see much there. We've got one area of rain in northern portions then of Lawrence County. That is north of Bedford. And we've had a few die out along Interstate 74. These will be isolated this evening south of Interstate 74. The main impact from these isolated thunderstorms, it's possible some of the stronger ones may produce some hail or gusty winds. There's a low risk for any severe weather. As far as the wind, starting to come around to the northwest, there's a little frontal boundary, which is really a change in wind direction more than it is anything else. Temperatures to the north, 76 in Peru, 80 in Indy, a little warmer south of that front. A little better environment for these isolated thunderstorms around. Well, we mentioned football. Let's talk about the forecast then for the evening hours as we head toward the kickoff at 7 o'clock in many spots. I got to get over here and hit the bar so you can see what's going on. We'll hear from the guys in a little bit. Up and in. How about that for a field goal? 78, your kickoff temperature. 75 at halftime, more humid than last week.
It's always been bad. I mean, our turning in and turning out has always been bad. I think once it's done, the construction will be a positive point for our business.
RTV6 is working for you with important takeaways on a major road construction project aimed to improve safety in Hamilton County. In the next month, work will start on the State Road 37 improvement project in Fishers and Noblesville. RTV6's Nicole Griffin is finding out how the project is aiming to alleviate frustrations drivers have been complaining about for years.
Once the State Road 37 project is complete, intersections like this one here, 126th Street, will look completely different. Traffic signals that are here now will be eliminated, and a roundabout will be built over State Road 37, meaning traffic will keep flowing and no longer have to stop for traffic lights.
It's going to be a mess for a while.
Businesses along State Road 37 in Hamilton County are already preparing for construction. Lindsay Lockhart is the VP of Lockhart Cadillac. The family-owned business is one of many working with the city of Fishers in order to survive the State Road 37 improvement project.
We're going to try to make it as positive as possible. We're going to have a field out here with hashtags of positive vibes to draw the community in, and we're going to work together and we're going to get through it because there's a lot of businesses up and down this street and it's going to be a long project for everybody, but right now we just want to make it as the best we can.
We have a $500,000 campaign, a joint campaign with the county that is a marketing campaign for the businesses. It's a major importance to us that the businesses, although they will feel pain, we're trying to reduce the amount of pain they'll feel.
Here's a breakdown of the project. Roundabouts will be constructed at 126th Street, 131st Street, and 141st Street. At 146th Street, which is a busier intersection, there will be what's called a single-point urban interchange. This will be similar to what drivers see now at I-465 and Allisonville Road. Project leaders say the project will reduce stop-and-go traffic. It'll cut down on commute times, which will ultimately improve safety. Working for you in Fishers, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Interstate 70 east of Indianapolis can get bumpy. The good news is we should see improvement over the next 3 months, but not before some significant traffic headaches. INDOT announced today a 60-mile stretch of the heavily used highway will undergo what's called full-depth patching. This will impact both directions of I-70 between Mount Comfort Road and Hancock County and the Ohio state line. INDOT crews will work 7 days a week starting on September 6th. They will do the construction in the 10-mile increments on I-70 starting at Mount Comfort Road, which you see live in this shot here. INDOT says one lane will be open in each direction on I-70 in the construction zones, and the project should be done by the end of November.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, who spends more money on maintaining their facial hair? Men with beards or men with baby faces?
But first here, honoring a child who changed lives all over Indiana, how Ryan White will be immortalized.
And we'll talk rain chances into and through your Labor Day weekend. It's about the timing here that may impact some plans. We've got details coming up.
September 3rd.
Welcome back to RTV6 News at 5. There are now 661 official state historical markers across Indiana. The newest one has Ryan White's name on it. Today, people gather at Hamilton Heights Middle School as the Ryan White State Historical Marker was unveiled. In 1987, what is now the middle school was the Hamilton Heights High School building. White received a warm welcome at the school when he transferred there. That was not the case in Howard County. In 1984, while living outside Kokomo, White contracted AIDS from a blood transfusion. He met opposition at Western Middle School from people who feared he would spread AIDS to students and staff, so he transferred to Hamilton Heights.
I looked at homes in Cicero, Indiana. I had no idea what to expect, but we purchased a home in Cicero, Indiana. Our life actually changed the night we moved. The next day, kids stopped by the house to introduce themselves to Ryan. Danny Baker, Wendy Baker was one, Jill Stewart, Billy Beechler. There was kids that stopped by, so Ryan would know somebody the first day of school.
White was just 18 when he died in 1990. Now Ryan White will be forever immortalized in Hamilton County community that welcomed him in and where he spent his final days.
Hurricane Dorian is slowly moving across the Atlantic Ocean, now as a Category 3 hurricane. But the east coast of Florida is still in this massive storm's path, and it could make landfall as a Category 4 storm. ABC's Megan Tervizian is in Florida with new information for us tonight.
The entire state of Florida in a holding pattern, watching closely to see where and when Hurricane Dorian will hit.
If you're in an area that has flooded in past storms like Irma, you're almost assuredly to experience flooding. Understand that could happen. Understand that you're likely to lose power and act accordingly.
Florida's governor today working with FEMA to solve the state's fuel shortage. Half the gas stations in Miami empty.
Nobody won't get hurt. Just a little bit more patience, a little tolerance.
Amtrak suspending select service into Florida. Airlines offering traveler waivers for those wanting to change flights, while some Floridians frantically trying to get back.
I was here for meetings and I'm going back home to be ready. And now that I see that we'll hit on a Category 4, so yes, I'm getting worried. I'm very worried.
At NASA's Kennedy Space Center, crews taking precautions to protect ground support equipment, moving the mobile launcher indoors. If Dorian lives up to the current forecast, the biggest threat could be flooding.
But we want everyone to know if they live in a storm surge zone so that if we do issue that order, you can move immediately.
Even those inland at risk. Orlando's mayor joining coastal cities in declaring a state of emergency.
It could be the most significant storm we've had in a couple of decades here in Orlando.
President Trump just approved the emergency declaration for Florida. Thousands of soldiers and airmen from Florida's National Guard have been deployed. Thousands more are on standby. Megan Tervizian, ABC News, Daytona Beach, Florida.
And tonight on the Now Indy at 5:30, people from right here in central Indiana are preparing to go into the storm zone. We show you what's ahead of them and how they're ready to save lives. Hard hits, big blocks, crazy catches, and touchdown throws. It's football season here in central Indiana, and that means it's Friday Football Frenzy here on RTV6.
Our Alyssa Donovan joins the Beech Grove Hornets tonight.
And they are revved up for their home game against Cascade.
It is Friday Football Frenzy, and we are here at Beech Grove High School, where students are getting ready to cheer on the Hornets against Cascade tonight on their home turf.
Cheerleaders, students, the drumline, and the mascot came out to show their support for the team.
I'm excited to win this football game tonight, We gotta win. We have to.
Students revved up with a donut eating contest.
Let's go, 3, 2, 1, go!
Their classmates cheering them on. The Hornets are coming off a loss last week, but the coach says he's hoping the team will bounce back on their home field against a fresh team.
It's a new member of our conference coming in, Cascade. Good football team. We certainly have our work cut out for us tonight.
And with these fans behind them, the team might have the big push they need to get the win.
Excited to watch my guys go out there and compete and hopefully take home a W.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Thank you, Alyssa. And some of the other big names we're covering tonight are New Pal at Center Grove, Westfield at Decatur Central, Cecina at Speedway, and Brownsburg will be in Cincinnati to take on St. Xavier. We'll have all the highlights and scores tonight on the news at 11.
And Amanda, college football is back tonight. Purdue opens the season on the road out west. They're about to take on the University of Nevada in the biggest little city in the world. That's Reno. The Boilermakers are hoping to start the season with a win. Not only will Purdue players need to get used to the opponent, they're going to have to also get used to the thinner air up in the higher elevations. Kickoff tonight is at 9:30 p.m. And tomorrow, an intrastate rivalry. The Indiana Hoosiers will play the Ball State Cardinals at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. It is the first game for both teams. Kickoff is set for noon.
I love talking about football.
I know. It's exciting, isn't it? I've seen the banners downtown for the Ball State U game tomorrow, so everybody revved up for that. For us, a warmer weekend. Temperatures will peak next week. Remember when I said we might be done with 90?
Maybe not.
Well, it's going to be very close. 88 or so on Tuesday. The national weather story. Let me show you another view of Dorian here. Winds 115 miles per hour. This is moving slowly. This will still be a story when we get together after Labor Day and Wednesday of next week. Here's the path. May come ashore sometime overnight Labor Day into Tuesday. That's Tuesday at 2 o'clock right along the coastline, and then goes to the north toward Jacksonville, still maintaining hurricane strength winds into Wednesday. That's the latest thinking. 80 degrees right now, that wind out of the northwest. Just look out your window. You can see the clouds around, building into isolated downpours in spots, but the more coverage is to the south and east over Cincinnati. We'll zip to the south here, a fading area of rain just on the southern side of Lake Monroe. That will try to move to the east. Another nice little downpour, but covers very little real estate south of Seymour along 65. And just to show you, as they quickly build up, they can fade away as well, which just happened between Rushville and Connorsville, a fading area of showers and thunder showers. Temperatures are warmest to the south. There's a frontal boundary, a change in wind direction, and cooler temperatures on the north side, a little more humid on the south. That's why we may still see an isolated thunderstorm pop up through the evening hours. Well, we've talked about Friday night football. There's baseball still at Victory Field. It is the last fireworks game. Friday night fireworks after the ball game. 77 degrees for your first pitch at 7:15 and should be dry. As you look at the weekend, temperatures Saturday and Sunday both low to mid 80s, a little more humidity. Chance for thunderstorms is greatest on Sunday. If you have outdoor activities, may be interrupted during the day Sunday. Less likely you'll have an issue during the day tomorrow. 73 at noon tomorrow. An afternoon high pushes into the low 80s. We'll have an east wind around 10 miles per hour. 83 is your average high temperature this time of year. Sunday, we're headed to average temperatures are a little above. The timing of the thunderstorms, they become a little more likely during the afternoon hours. You can see the impact. Cooler temperatures to the north, warmer to the south, where it takes a little longer for any thunderstorms to arrive. 7:30 in the morning, showers, thunderstorms, mainly northern half of the state. Then as we get to the afternoon and evening, impacting the central portion of Indiana. Labor Day itself is dry and a nice dismount from, well, summer, the unofficial end of summer. 85 degrees. There is the Tuesday high pushing the 90-degree mark, but the warmer it feels Tuesday, the cooler it will feel Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday's high only 75 degrees. That would be a nice taste of fall. Yeah,
which is right around the corner. All right,
sneaking into it. We'll be right back.
It's from 4:30 to 7.
If you notice a superhero or two walking around the streets of Indianapolis, don't be alarmed.
That's because Indiana Comic-Con is going on at the Indiana Convention Center.
The event features celebrity guests like Guardians of the Galaxy actor Michael Rooker, Walter Koenig, and Star Trek Hall of Fame wrestler Ric Flair and Adam Baldwin from the shows Firefly and Chuck.
Artists from the show King of the Hill and various comic book series will also make appearances. Indiana Comic-Con is happening now, and it runs through Sunday.
You may also see cloaks, magic wands, and maybe lightning bolts in downtown Indianapolis this weekend.
Thousands of Harry Potter fans from around the world are expected to crowd White River State Park for the first ever Wizards Unite Fan Festival. The event is all about the new Wizards Unite augmented reality game similar to Pokemon Go. It features a real-world map with items to collect for battle.
That festival starts tomorrow. You can find ticket information by going to the RTV6 app or the IndyChannel.com and clicking on this story.
And I found my Harry Potter wand just in time.
You might see Amanda out there too, right? All new at 6 here on RTV6. Red line crashes and the new bus service isn't even online yet. Why this is a call for all drivers to be aware of the many changes on our city streets. New at 6.
But first on the Now, India's Hurricane Dorian heads toward Florida, threatening to displace thousands of people. Hoosiers are taking action. We'll show you how next. You're watching RTV6.